a quiet town in northern Thailand, there was an old hospital called Chiang Rai General Hospital. The hospital was still operating, but part of the building had been abandoned for years. New nurses were always warned never to go to the fourth floor, especially room 409, a room sealed after a tragic event decades ago. But tonight, a new nurse named Nira happened to be on a solo night shift. It was almost 11 p.m. The hallways were silent, the only sound the shaky buzz of the old air conditioner. As Nira checked the patient list, the lights above her flickered once, twice, then dimmed. She sighed. "These fourth-floor lights are always a problem," she muttered, scanning the assignment sheet. But something written there made her freeze. "Check the new patient in room 409. Nira frowned. Room 409? She thought it had been closed for years. But maybe the room had been reopened without her knowing. She hesitated, then decided to check. She headed to the fourth floor. When the elevator doors opened, a blast of cold air greeted her. The lights were dim, the hallway wrapped in a strange, misty atmosphere. Paint peeled from the walls. Old metal door plates rusted with age. There were no other nurses, no patients, no footsteps, only silence. At the end of the hallway, the door to room 409 was slightly open, slowly swinging, even though the floor had no windows and no wind. Nira swallowed hard and walked toward it. "Hello, I'm Nurse Nira. Is there a new patient here?" The door creaked open a little wider. Creak. Nira stepped inside. The room was almost pitch black. Only a sliver of hallway light stretched across the floor. The bed was old, with a peeling number plate. Nira reached for the light switch. Clicked it on. The light flickered once, then died. But during that half-second flash, she saw something. Someone was sitting in the corner of the room. Long hair, white hospital gown, head bowed. "Is that the new patient?" "Hello?" No response. The light flickered again, and the figure was suddenly standing closer. Nira stumbled back. "Sir? Ma'am? Please don't move like that." "Are you okay?" The light went out completely. In the darkness, she heard breathing, shaky, as if someone was trying not to cry. Then a woman whispered right beside her ear, "Bring him back, please." The lights turned on. The room was empty. The corner was empty. Only a small red note lay on the bed. It read in smeared ink, "Don't open the morgue drawer." 213. Nira's hands trembled as she picked it up. What was this? Who wrote it? The elevator finally stopped. On the fourth floor again. Standing in the corridor was an elderly woman in a doctor's coat. "Parawat Nira, you look pale. What happened?" It was Dr. Sopa, the senior doctor. Nira trembled. "Doctor, I went into room 409. I saw someone. Then the elevator sent me to the morgue. There was..." Dr. Sopa shook her head firmly. "Room 409 has been closed since 1997. There is no patient there." But the assignment sheet said, "Nira, no one assigned you that task." Nira handed her the red note. Dr. Sopa stiffened, face draining of color. "You found this?" She read it again carefully. This same note was found in that room 20 years ago. Nira's breath caught. Dr. Sopa continued, "There was a woman named Chanaya, a young mother. Her baby was treated in the neonatal unit. One night, the baby died. She refused to accept it. She escaped to the morgue and opened drawer 13, trying to hold her child. She froze to death beside him." Nira felt her chest tighten. "Since then," Dr. Sopa whispered, "nurses have seen a crying woman carrying a red note, begging for someone to bring him back." 213 was the time of their death. Part 6, the time loop. Suddenly, the hallway lights went out. The clock on the wall ticked rapidly. 11:59, 12:30, 1 o'clock, 1:45. The hands spun faster, then stopped at 2:13. Then came the soft footsteps. A woman in a white patient gown appeared at the end of the corridor. Her long hair hid her face. In her arms, she carried something, a baby body bag. She walked slowly toward them. Don't move, Dr. Sopa whispered. If we stay still, she pass us. She's looking for the morgue, but when the woman reached Nera, she stopped. Slowly, she lifted her head. Her ice-blue eyes locked onto Nera's. Nera couldn't breathe. The woman whispered, "Bring him back." "You took him, didn't you?" Nera shook her head, terrified. Dr. Sopa tried to pull her away. The woman shrieked, "Bring back my child!" Lights shattered, the hallway shook. Air froze into white mist. The woman lunged at Nera. At 4 a.m., all lights in the hospital suddenly turned on again. Morning shift nurses found the 4th floor quiet and clean. The elevator worked normally. The rooms were untouched. But on the floor in front of room 409, they found Nera's clipboard. They searched the entire hospital. She was gone. Only the CCTV footage remained. At 2:13 a.m., cameras showed Nera running down the hallway, terrified, as if chased by something invisible to the camera. In the last frame, she stood in front of room 409. The door opened by itself. Nera stepped inside. The door closed. It never opened again. To this day, new nurses still receive a mysterious assignment sheet. Check the new patient in room 409, and if they go there, they sometimes see a young nurse inside writing something with red ink, as if warning someone. The same message always appears: don't open the morgue drawer. 213. She will come for you. In northern Thailand, near the quiet outskirts of Chiang Rai, stood an old hospital known as Chiang Rai General Hospital. Most of its building was still in use, but one particular wing, the oldest wing, built over 40 years ago, had a reputation that no staff wanted to discuss. New nurses were warned in a half-joking, half-serious tone. Don't go to the 4th floor, and whatever you do, never open room 409. But on one unusually cold night, a new nurse named Nera found herself working the night shift alone. Part 1, the assignment. The clock showed 10:58 p.m. The night shift was usually quiet, but tonight felt different. The hallways seemed darker, the air conditioner hummed strangely, and even the smell of disinfectant felt sharp and unpleasant. As Nera checked her assignment sheet, she noticed something odd. A handwritten note, squeezed between printed text. Check the new patient in room 409. She frowned. That room had been sealed for years. Even during training, the senior nurse joked, "Just skip 409, no one wants to go there." But now she had official instructions. Nera even asked herself whether someone was trying to prank her, but the handwriting didn't look familiar. Almost like it was written with trembling fingers. She sighed, grabbed her clipboard, and headed toward the elevator. Little did she know, the elevator was the least of her problems. When the elevator reached the 4th floor, the doors opened with a long metallic groan. Nera instantly felt colder. Not the normal hospital cold, but a chilling, wet cold that clung to her skin. The hallway lights flickered. The old tiles made a hollow echo beneath her footsteps. Everything was too quiet. No nurses. No patients. No machines beeping. Just emptiness. She noticed something else. A faint smell of something rusty. Metal-like. It reminded her of old blood. At the end of the hallway, room 409 stood with its door slightly open, swaying gently, as if someone had just stepped inside. Nera whispered, "Hello? Anyone here?" But her voice sounded muffled, almost swallowed by the building. She walked toward the room, each step heavier than the last. The inside of the room was darker than she expected. The curtains were drawn and the lights near the bed didn't work. She reached for the wall switch. The light blinked once, and she saw a figure sitting in the corner. Long hair covering its face, a hospital gown. Bare feet touching the cold floor. The light flickered off. Nera's breath caught. "Hello? Are you the new patient?" No answer. The light flickered again, and the figure was now standing halfway across the room. She gasped, stumbling back. "But please don't move suddenly. I'm just here to check." The light died completely. In the darkness, she heard breathing. Shaky, wet, like someone crying through clenched teeth. Then a whisper brushed her ear. "Bring him back, please." Nira froze. When the lights came on again, the room was empty. No patient, no figure. Just a single small note resting on the bed. She picked it up with trembling fingers. Written in dark red ink, "Don't open the morgue drawer. 213. Her heart pounded. Why 213? Whose writing was this? She'd backed out of the room slowly, keeping her eyes on every corner. But the hallway was now darker than before. Something was wrong. Very wrong. Nira hurried to the elevator. She pressed the button repeatedly. When it finally arrived, she stepped inside and instantly pressed ground floor. The button lit up, then flickered, then turned off. The elevator began descending on its own. Down, down, even though the ground floor was above. The digital display blinked. B2 morgue. The elevator stopped. The doors slid open by themselves. The morgue was colder than ice. White fog curled from the air vents. The faint metallic smell from earlier was much stronger here. Rows of metal body drawers gleamed under the dim light. Nira whispered shakily, "No, I didn't press this button. Let me out." But the elevator refused to close. It held the doors open, as if inviting her. Then, Xiaolanke, one of the drawers, drawer 13, jerked violently. Something inside was moving. Thud, thud, thud. Nira backed away, shaking uncontrollably. The drawer slid open. A body bag fell halfway out. The bag moved. Then the zipper slid down slowly. Even though no one touched it, a face appeared, the same woman she saw in room 409. Her skin was bluish, her eyes frozen open, her hair dripping with something dark like thawed water from a freezer. Her lips moved. 213. She crawled out of the bag, her joints cracking, her hands stiff like ice, dragging herself toward Nira. Nira ran. She slammed the elevator button. The doors closed unbearably slow. Too slow. The woman reached out. The doors shut just as her fingers brushed the metal. The elevator shot upward. Nira collapsed to the floor, sobbing. When the doors opened again, Nira stumbled out. She was back on the 4th floor. Someone was standing in the hallway, an older woman in a doctor's coat. It was Dr. Sopa, the senior physician. "Nira, dear, what happened? You look like you've seen a ghost." Nira's voice trembled. "Doctor, I was in room 409. I saw a woman. Then I ended up in the morgue drawer 13. There was..." Dr. Sopa raised her hand. Her face grew serious. "Nira, room 409 has been sealed since 1997. But the assignment? No one assigned you to go there." Nira showed her the red note. Dr. Sopa's eyes widened. Her hand shook as she held it. "This note, this handwriting, I've seen it before." Her voice dropped to a whisper. "It belonged to Chanaya." Nira's stomach twisted. "Who is she?" Dr. Sopa looked down the dark hallway before she answered. 20 years ago, Chanaya was a mother. Her baby was very ill. One night the baby died. They kept the body in the morgue. Drawer 13. Nira felt the air grow colder, but Chanaya refused to accept it. She escaped from her ward, broke into the morgue, and opened the drawer herself. She held her baby for hours until both of them. She didn't finish the sentence. Nira already knew. 213, the time of death. And since then, Dr. Sopa continued, hospital staff report seeing a crying woman carrying a red note, begging for someone to bring him back. Before Nira could respond, the lights shut off. All of them. The hallway fell into complete darkness. Something growled softly through the air vents, like the building itself was breathing. The clock on the wall began ticking rapidly. 11:58, 12:30, 1:15, 1:50. The hands spun faster and stopped exactly at 2:13. Nira felt the air freeze. A faint sound echoed from the far end of the hallway. Footsteps. Bare, slow, wet footsteps. A woman in a white patient gown appeared from the shadows. Her hair covered her face. Her gown soaked as if she had walked out of a freezer. In her arms, A baby body bag. Dr. Sopa whispered, "Don't move. Don't breathe loud. If you stay still, she pass us." The woman walked slowly. Her feet left small wet footprints on the floor. Her head hung low until she reached Nira. Then she stopped. Her head lifted. Her frozen blue eyes stared straight into Nira's soul. The woman whispered, "Bring him back." "You took him." Nira shook her head violently. "I didn't." I'm not. The woman screamed. Lights shattered overhead. The floor trembled. Cold wind whipped through the hallway like a storm. "Bring back my child." She lunged at Nira. Nira screamed and ran. The hallway stretched unnaturally long, every door slamming by itself, every light exploding one by one. Behind her, the woman crawled at impossible speed, limbs bending at the wrong angles. Nira reached room 409. The door swung open by itself. She ran in. The door slammed shut. At exactly 4 a.m., everything returned to normal. Lights on, machines humming, temperature stable. Morning shift nurses arrived and found the fourth floor quiet, too quiet. They noticed something strange, a clipboard lying in front of room 409. It was Nira's, but Nira was nowhere to be found. Not in the rooms, not in the stairwell, not in the morgue. The only clue was the CCTV footage. At 2:13 a.m., the camera showed Nira running down the hallway, terrified, as if chased by something the camera could not see. She reached room 409. The door opened by itself. Nira stepped inside. The door closed. She never came out. And to this day, new nurses sometimes get a mysterious handwritten assignment. Check the new patient in room 409. If they go there, they hear scratches from inside. Sometimes crying, sometimes laughing, and sometimes, just sometimes, they see a young nurse inside the room, writing something with red ink. A warning, don't open the morgue drawer. 213, she come for you next.